My strange relationship with my ex-best friend. Hi. This is the first time I'm posting on Reddit, and I'm not a writer, so I might say unnecessary things or make grammatical mistakes. But I needed to share this. Since elementary school, I had a best friend, ex-best friend, named Alexis. From the beginning, he had questionable behavior. He was a compulsive liar, constantly making things up. He also mocked people who were overweight, which I always found ironic because he was overweight himself at the time. I remember one day, because of his jokes, 2 girls complained to our teacher. And since I was always with him, I got blamed too. In high school, Alexis started going to the gym and lost a lot of weight. We were no longer at the same school, but we stayed in touch. Around his 3rd year, he started dating girls. That wouldn't have been a problem if all his relationships didn't last just 1 or 2 months, and then he'd immediately have a new girlfriend. At the time, it didn't bother me much, but what did annoy me was that he always wanted me to meet his girlfriends and female friends, like he was seeking my approval. He also insisted on meeting my group of friends, and although I resisted at first, I eventually gave in. That's when things started to get complicated. A new guy joined our group, and Alexis didn't get along with him. He took every opportunity to insult him. While joking around was common in our group, this guy didn't like it, and we all understood that except Alexis. He also didn't like being the target of the same jokes he made about others. That led to a confrontation. At the end of my 3rd year, I tried to have a serious conversation with Alexis. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I do remember that he mocked me and brushed everything off. That was enough for me to block him. Around that time, I also came out to my group of friends as bisexual. The problem was that Alexis was still part of the group, and when we played video games, we had to talk. One day, he asked why I had blocked him. Since I didn't want to tell him, he somehow concluded that I had blocked him because I had feelings for him. I quickly denied it, and that was the end of it. Eventually, I unblocked him. Until mid-last year, our relationship was somewhat okay, although his pattern of short-lived relationships kept bothering me. He always repeated the same phrases whenever he started talking to a new girl. At that time, I had a new group of friends, including 2 girls that Alexis desperately wanted to meet. He told me he didn't trust me because I wouldn't introduce them to him, and he was right. A week before winter break, I decided to cut off all contact with him. I couldn't stand his behavior anymore. After I blocked him, a friend of mine started talking to him, but nothing came of it. She already knew his story. During the break, we somehow started talking again. He told me he was changing. Spoiler, he wasn't. That year, we both attended confirmation classes, the next step after catechism, where we met another guy who started clinging to me a lot. It seemed like he had a crush on me, and there was a rumor that he was gay. For some reason, Alexis got jealous. He tried to keep him away from me and insulted him behind his back. It was uncomfortable. A few months later, we hung out after school, and he told me he was going to meet a girl he was talking to. They kissed. Shortly after, I invited him to my birthday party along with my group of friends. He was very close to that girl, sitting next to her, resting his head on her shoulder. When she tried to move away, he pushed himself toward her and called her princess. Days later, he told me she was the one approaching him, but my friend and I saw that wasn't true. Plus, his story kept changing. Until one day, I had enough. I told him the truth. He tried to deny it, but with just a few words, I shut him down. He told me he had a girlfriend for 5 months, which was strange because the previous month he had been with another girl and tried to flirt with one of my friends. After that, he left me on read and never replied again, although he kept talking to my friend. Later, I spoke with a mutual friend who had also fallen out with him for similar reasons. She told me even more disturbing things. The worst, and the only one I clearly remember, is that Alexis showed her intimate photos of his girlfriends, including his current one. And the worst part, that girlfriend wasn't the same one he claimed to have been with for 5 months. Today, after all of that, I realized that friendship hurt me. It took me a while to see the patterns, the abuse, the manipulation. But now I see it clearly. And even though I'm not a writer, I needed to tell this story. Because sometimes, putting it into words is the only way to close the chapter.